Hello class, today we're going to talk about my favorite biome, the coral reef. So let's dive into this vast subject. First, we're going to ask ourselves, what is a coral reef? Well, a reef is an underwater ecosystem / biome. Science still kind of doesn't know if it's a biome or ecosystem, but for the sake of this project, we're going to call it a biome, which is mainly recognizable by its corals, or more specifically, coral polyps, which are held together by calcium carbonate. More on that later. There are three main types of coral reefs, and these include the fringing reef, the barrier reef, which we're going to focus on later, and the platform reef. We're going to cut to Jeremy with a live example. Jeremy? Thank you, Oscar. As you can see here, I'm standing at this beautiful example of fringing reef. You can see how it pretty much is flat until it suddenly drops into the abyss. Now to you, Sebastian.
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm now standing at the Great Barrier Reef. Hey, switch to the drone shot. Here you can see how the reef developed after the lagoon, instead of being directly adjacent to the bay. Now to you, Robert.
It seems we have lost Robert, but that doesn't matter. Somebody will find him. Or what's left of them. Quickly, I want to show you where the coral reefs are, and they are located here, and here, and there, and here. Yeah, reefs aren't as rare as one might think, but we're going to focus specifically on the warm water reefs. Now let's move on to some graphs. I know, it's boring, but I'll be quick. Generally, most reefs follow the same climate graph. A lot of rain in January, February, and March, and then it slowly goes down, and then it goes up again. The temperature goes with it, decreasing during the spring and summer, and increasing during fall and winter. When someone says coral reef, I imagine all the beautiful animals that are there. So let's see what animals we have. We have fish. That's even a goldfish. That's a freshwater fish. How does it even... Never mind. There are many types of animals in coral reefs, but because they're so diverse, I'll focus on the Great Barrier Reef. To each animal, I'll say a fun fact that I found. There is the manta ray, which has the biggest brain-to-body ratio of any fish. The green turtle, a rare icon of the barrier reef. The dugong, which is funnily enough more closely related to an elephant than to a whale. There is the whale shark, the largest fish in the ocean. The clownfish, which has a cool symbiotic relationship with the sea anemone. The mantis shrimp, which has a punch so powerful that it creates vacuum bubbles underwater. The humpback whale, which makes a beautiful sound that can be heard up to 15,000 kilometers away. The crown of thorns starfish. The giant clam that weighs about 200 kilos. The blanket octopus, where the female is 40,000 times heavier than a male. A jellyfish, which is actually a plankton. And finally, the seal, which gets all of its water through food, so it does not drink. We also got the trio, coral, sponges, and sea anemones, which are all animals. Next up, flora, which there actually isn't a lot of. All you got is like algae and kelp sometimes. But this algae is extremely important, since it forms a symbiotic relationship with coral, since it acts as a sort of cement, which holds corals together, so they don't get ripped apart. Actually, you also got the mangrove trees, which are technically a part of the coral reef, but it's not underwater, so I wouldn't push it. Since most of the animals are fish, they don't specifically adapt to the climate around them, and more so adapt to their surroundings. I'll show you how animals adapt to their surroundings. A big example is camouflage. Like, try to find this stonefish in this picture. Or this octopus. It's right over there. Also, just like everywhere else, some animals, like the crown of thorns starfish, developed spikes to protect themselves from predators. Or this guy, the parrotfish, which basically covers itself in snot so predators don't smell it while it sleeps. Now we move on to the sad topic of the threats to the coral reef. By far the biggest problem is coral bleaching. This is when coral dies because of heat stress and climate change, which leaves these terrible graveyards of white nothingness. Just empty husks of what once was. This is because algae protects the coral from direct sunlight, but if it gets warm, the algae leaves and dies, leaving the corals to die from the intense heat and sunlight. Along with this, water quality has been going down in the past few decades, leading to worse parameters for animals and plants. This is also caused by humans. Another interesting problem is the crown of thorns starfish, which is covered in spikes. This leads to no predators. It also munches on coral, destroying reefs. It reproduces fast and is a current threat to coral reefs, although not as big as the ones previously mentioned. Those are pretty much the basics of the coral reef biome. Thanks for your attention and have a nice day.